Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. I'm sorry I'm late half an hour. I, I was having a great conversation with my son, and I was visiting him, and I noticed that it's already past 9. I wanted to start at 9, but I had visits that I wanted to do. I hadn't seen my son for a while. So by the time I visit my mom, I spend a while with them, and then visit my son. Then notice, oh my goodness, it's after 9. So here I am, and glad that I could make it. Hope you guys are doing well, and hopefully we'll be together till about 11 o'clock, which is about almost an hour and a half from now. From that time, then I have a curfew because I think my neighbor is a very nice older lady would hear my voice through the wall, and I don't want to disturb her. So here we are. Let's see who's here. Stephen is here. Says hi, Meran. Stephen, 40 male, Los Angeles. Thank you for that. And level 1 says Levi, male 19. Where? Levi, male 19 from where? I need to know where your cultural background is by knowing where you're tuning in from. Steven says, I picked up an extra day of work tomorrow. I was about to listen to your email and go to sleep. Ah, good. Okay. Yeah, I sent the email to you as soon as I got it. And Steven says, even though I haven't listened to it yet, I've just been kind of frustrated all day. In the morning when I was texting that girl, she didn't respond to my last text and still hasn't. In person, she seems all there, which is what confuses me. I told myself as of now I'm done and completely disappearing from her. No more texting or giving her any attention. Maybe I'm just upset and my mind is malfunctioning. Who knows? Well, yeah, you're upset, but you don't have to go through what I mentioned in the video, in the recording that I sent you. So you will listen to that and you will become a little bit more clear. And if you don't want to contact with her, that's okay, but you don't have to be so Titanic either, all the way to the end of the pendulum to the right or end of the pendulum to the left. Just find a happy medium in the middle, and then don't expect so much for her to jump every time you text. And if she doesn't, that means she doesn't like you or doesn't want to be with you or any message into it. No, nothing. People are like this. Like I like to listen to get a response right away when I'm texting to someone, because I say the conversation needs to end, so I will know that discussion come to fruition. Or perhaps I think that was how I behaved with text when the phone option of the text was introduced. But later on, I learned that not everybody is like me that would set a time to sit down and have a conversation and expects back and forth of discussion continue until the discussion ends. People send text and then they go about doing their thing, and it's not a telephone conversation to expect respond right away. It's a message, like a email that you send, and the other person will see it but doesn't feel it's necessary to answer right away. It's nothing urgent. It may be doing some other thing, or maybe wants to respond at the right time, so it will wait. And they will see it, but they will go and do their own business. Like the email, they see it, but they will respond to it when it is time to respond to their email or to whatever it is that they're done with it. And now it's time for them for leisure or attend to different conversation depending on their level of seriousness or leisureness. So the same thing for you right now. You got to recognize that and synchronize yourself with the way that different people respond to text differently. It's not like you want to have a conversation when you start a text. To people, it's like a checking up, not necessarily a conversation. So you write something, they don't find that it's necessary to answer, and they don't mean any disrespect or any dissing you at all. It's just the way they think of text is. Okay, I got a text. Okay, I'll respond to it when I have something to say or whatever. So you got to get used to that and don't make that to be frustrating for yourself. And T says, hi Mehran, 20 female from the UK. Hello dear, good of you to join us. Says, these sensations and feelings when I get these HOCD intrusive thoughts feel so strong, and I don't know what to do when I know myself that I am straight. Also, how do I break rumination? And what is the difference between in denial and HOCD? These are all very good questions, and these questions need lots of good focus and attention to respond to them. And that's why they're not necessarily a short discussion. That's why when I receive such questions on a live stream, I would like to refer and handle it in the best possible way I can. So because I have created all these answers in videos, I invite you to the video that talks about this. There is a video called Are You Living in Denial? On my channel, whether you go through the playlist of intrusive, transient, OCD, HOCD negative thoughts, or you simply go to my search engine of the channel and put in the word denial, or are you living in denial? Are you in denial? Just the word denial. It will bring it up for you. In fact, what I'm going to do is, as a certain kind of a proper service, since I'm not going to be getting into the discussion because it's a good long discussion and I want you to get the best benefit of the whole discussion, I'm going to introduce you to the actual video. And so I want you to watch this when it's at your leisure time. This video has the duration of 21 minutes and 15 seconds, so obviously I wouldn't be able to dedicate that time here, and I wouldn't even remember what I said in there. So I hope that this will be satisfactory to you. That's your first question, or rather one of the questions about what is the difference between in denial and HOCD. Actually, many people who have HOCD, the HOCD is actually causing them to think if they're living in denial. And by watching that video, it will be clear for you. First of all, if you are actually not the gender that you are, the thoughts and intrusive thoughts or suggestions or images would be a welcome sight to you, not a reason for objection. And what is this? I don't like that. It makes me uncomfortable. The moment that it makes you uncomfortable, that means you are not that gender anyhow. And this is how OCD, HOCD, intrusive thoughts, negative thoughts works. It always attacks you with opposite of what you are. In other words, even if you were, let's say, stranded or born in an island and you never had a chance to see anything, experience anything, so you had no other than the natural ways, you didn't have any idea of what your gender or inclination is, but you got an HOCD. That HOCD that suggests to you what you are is exact reason that you can rely on it and be damn sure that you're opposite of what that HOCD suggestion is. So in other words, if you're heterosexual, always been a heterosexual, and now you have an HOCD, thoughts and images or suggestions of homosexual thoughts, ideas, then you can be damn sure that you are a heterosexual. Because it always works opposite of what you are. All the attacks are opposite of what you are. It will never attack you with what you are, because that wouldn't be attack. You wouldn't, But the job of this brain and the negative side is to alarm you. And it won't alarm you about what you are. It alarms you about something that can be considered unlikely and danger to you. So if you're heterosexual, it understands and knows that to do its job, which is protection, is to alarm you, alert you of possibility of homosexual thoughts and engagements. That is what the anxiety is about, and that's what triggers the thought to bring about that subject, and that's because you are not. So you're always opposite of what the HOCD suggests. So, and the denial thing will perhaps give you some information on that question. And what other question you had? You also were saying, you say, I don't know what to do when I know myself that I'm straight. You always think and focus on what you are, not on what the brain is suggesting. Because what you are is the only thing that should be your focus and your beacon, your prime directive. You don't worry about what the suggestion the brain makes, because the brain is a separate system. You're not the brain, and brain is not you. So what brain says and does or suggests or images it brings about or feelings that it instigates is not you. It's what the power of the brain has to make you convinced that you are not what you've always been, because that's how it operates. That's what OCD is. It's a doubting disease. It's a disorder that roams around the doubting. So you need to understand that your mandate is to protect yourself. How do you protect yourself? You have certain values in your core principle values. You know about your preferences, inclination, your gender, your interest, your manners, your morals, your values, your faith, or whatever it is. All that is a combination of your values that you identify yourself with. And your duty is not to have all those out. The bank doesn't leave its vaults open, it secures them. So your values also should be secured. How? By being focused that what is your identity, and you are supposed to be protecting it by gauging every thought, suggestion, or images, or whatever it is, against the values that you're holding sacred in your vault, in your value system, in your wise advocate, as Dr. Schwartz puts it, in your gatekeeper, as Dr. Philipson puts it, in your superconsciousness, as I put it. Of course, I'm not in the same level as those two brilliant doctors, but I just wanted to say what I would call it. So, protecting your identity, protecting your values, protecting your preferences, inclinations, and association, and all the things that you know about yourself is one of our duties in this life. Otherwise, we are attacked by all kinds of things, by other people and by our own brain. We are responsible to shield ourselves by clarity and by the knowledge and by the attention and the focus we pay to what values we hold sacred. Otherwise, we would be like a mosquito in the wind. Every time wind blows here, mosquito goes that way, and then blows over, comes from there. That means today the brain suggests you, if you're heterosexual, it may suggest you're a homosexual, and then tomorrow that you've bought into the idea that you're homosexual is going to suggest you're heterosexual, and then the next year is going to suggest that you're different. So where is it going to end? So you're supposed to be the protector of your values by focusing on who you are, what you are. Think about what is important and meaningful to you, not what the brain suggests. Today, through the videos that I have produced, I have reported the findings of the scientists and the neurosurgeons through their experimental surgeries that found out very clearly that you're beyond the brain. And the materialists are now dualists. It is proven by science that it is not just all you are, is not just what the brain conjures up. There are things that the brain does not have any control. One is your veto power, which means you're above brain at all times. You're the judge and you're the sole power in this entity, not the brain. Brain is a separate system. Number two, they couldn't find intellectual localization in the brain when they were doing the probing on the surgery to heal epilepsy, and they were doing different experiments, namely Dr. Penfield and Dr. Roger Sperry have done extensive work on probing the brain while the patient is awake, because there is no pain in the brain when you operate on it. The skin and the bone, yeah, but then localized anesthetics takes care of that. And then they were probing to figure out what is happening in the brain and where the localizations of intellect. They could not find localization of intellect, the localization of your political inclinations or political views, the localization of your manners, morals, your localizations of things that are your preferences and are what you choose, your choices, localization of doing math, they could not find any of that. All they could find was maybe make your hand raise or your facial muscles to be changed, or maybe utter a word or see a light by probing certain localities of in the brain. But they understood that the veto power, which is the decision making against what this brain suggests, it is not in the hands of the brain. The intellectuality of it, the wisdom of it, awareness of it, these are not the brain. Brain is just a mechanical machine. So for all that you can be sure that then you are the boss. Doesn't matter what shows up in your brain. You have the power of choice, and choosing and preferences is your power, which overrides anything the brain can conjure up. And you said, how do I break rumination? Well, I believe I have another video on that. Let me see if I can find it, because if I want to answer all these questions, it would be in detail. It would be rather a private session, and it would take away from that whole live streaming intention that we have. So I try as much as I can to answer questions as short-handed as possible, but otherwise we will rely on the videos, or possibly you might want to go to my channel, mindthatseekstruth.com, mindthatseekstruth.com, my site, and then make an appointment on Skype, and we'll discuss the issues that you're interested in, explore it together on Skype, one-on-one. And let's see, what was I looking for? Rumination, or ruminating, I believe would be the word I used in the thing. Come on. All right, there is one. Oh, well, that's a short one. It says, I have been ruminating in my room all day with anxiety. I think that was a question asked by Dash. Let's see if that would be relevant. I don't know what I said in here, but that's the best I can do at the moment. Otherwise, perhaps I'd be able to help in a different time. And so T says, let's see, who said Arizona here? Somebody asked where you. Levy 1 says Arizona. Okay, Levy 1 is male, 19, from Arizona. Thank you for that. So now we are with Juliet Otiena, or should I continue with T? And T says, I'm sorry, I'm a 20-year-old male. Oh, you're a male, okay. But what did you say, female? Didn't you say female? Yeah, you said 20 female from UK. What the hell is going on? T says, sorry, I'm a 20-year-old male. It was a spell check. Ah, okay. Thanks for clarification. Or otherwise, I thought HOCD is really getting a hold of you. All right. T says my brain would try to tell me that I like it when I get these thoughts. That's what it does. That's its job. It's supposed to. Why? Because it's malfunctioning. I don't know, T, if you have seen any of the videos that I've made or been in any of the live chats that I have, but there is a system in the brain that is designed to automatically shut down the intrusive thoughts when they appear, such as these thoughts, HOCD. Something that is opposite of the gender that you are, you've been, and you prefer, and you want to be. And that is called caudate nucleus, is in the striatum circle that we call it, that is called, not we called it because I'm not a doctor. And caudate nucleus is designed to automatically shut down intrusive thoughts when they appear. After you notice them, say, oh, that's not interesting to me. And then caudate nucleus catches on and shuts it down, and then you go about focusing on whatever it is that you prefer to focus in your life, in your daily life. But sometimes caudate nucleus malfunctions. It's like the automatic gear shift of a car that doesn't change the gear automatically. So you got to grab onto the gear handle and physically actually place it into the next gear or the lower gear or higher gear. And that is similar to your behavior toward the intrusive thoughts. So when intrusive thoughts shows up and caudate nucleus is not doing its job to shut it down, and the intrusive thoughts lingers, so the signal doesn't get back to the prefrontal cortex to let them know we're not interested in these kind of discussions or images or suggestions, then it lingers when it cannot have that. The signaling system is malfunctioning. So the gear shift is not going into place to automatically shut down the possibility of forming more intrusive thoughts. When that happens, your behavior towards intrusive thoughts, which would be of the kind that you would recognize the intrusive thoughts to be what it is, intrusive thoughts, and you name them and call it for what it is, intrusive thoughts. You say, this is OCD, not me. This is HOCD, not me. This is an intrusive thought, not me. This is the brain, not me. And therefore, you have clearly recognized and called it for what it is, and then you diss it, ignore it, and you do not exchange energy with it or debate with it, data hunt it, or try to analyze it or interpret it of any kind. You just simply say whatever, and you move on with what it is that you're about to engage in life and whatever it is that was your plan. So you focus on what it is that you want to focus, and you recognize what these are and say, yeah, I recognize you're here and I'm not interested, and you call it for what it is, and you go on with your own regular business. And that's behavior, which is a manual way of getting the gear shift that used to work automatically into the gear. And then through this behavior, every time these intrusive thoughts show up, you continue this behavior towards them. Then through neuroplasticity, repetitious of it, the neurons try to now reverse this wiring, and the brain starts realizing that there is no buyer here, there is no interest here, there is no energy exchange here, so they will reduce these creation of these intrusive thoughts to the point that eventually they disappear. And if they did show up, you always know what to do. So it's not a problem anymore. You can easily negotiate and have the manual gear at work just as if it was automatic. And often the caudate nucleus resets and clicks back into work, and you will not even be having to notice anything because they just don't show up anymore. And so T says also, I get anxious whenever I see a good-looking guy. Yeah, I've explained that. In fact, there is a video I have on that, which you will simply be able to enjoy that explanation there. And so it says, HOCD, why feeling anxiety when seeing another good-looking male? There it is. I think that would be something relevant to what you would like perhaps to address. And also I have another one that I have recorded in one of the live streams, which I will individually upload it once I have it edited properly out of the thing. So here it is for you, T. That is in regards to, that's a link I sent you in regards to, and then there's another one that says, I'm not confident because I'm not good looking. Oh, that's not the one. That's the one I sent you. HOCD, why feeling anxiety when seeing another good looking male? I think that's exactly the question you had. Boy, this channel is really good, isn't it? Has exact questions that you guys ask. And T says, finally, what is the number one thing I should do when these intrusive thoughts come into my mind? As I mentioned, number one thing is to call them for what it is. Recognize them to be what they are, intrusive thoughts, HOCD, OCD. You recognize them, not to be bamboozled and not see that this is not you, because you have understood the brain is a separate independent system. So what it conjures up, which is 90, 80, 90,000 thoughts a day, is irrelevant to you. And when you gauge it against your values, you can see that this is intrusive thought because it's not aligned with my values. And you know what your values are, including your gender, inclination, your preferences, and all that. So on those information, on that knowledge, you know that it is intrusive thought. So the first thing you do, you call it for what it is. This is OCD, it's not me. This is HOCD, it's not me. This is intrusive thought, it's not me. It's the brain, it's not me. That's what you do. The first thing you do. You don't have to call them all, just but recognize them all that way. So there we go. I hope that's helpful to you. And Stephen says, good night, Meron. I have to be up by 5 a.m., but we'll listen in, and thank you. We'll listen now to the email. Okay, great. And let's go back to where we were. Satil Shan says, I struggle a lot emotionally, but the channel Star Wars theory helps me feel so passionate and myself. Oh, wonderful. And says, Star Wars theory is carefree about the haters. Aha, good. And always helps me motivate to work hard. Wonderful, wonderful. Wonderful. And Emmanuel says, I don't know if it's an OCD, but I realize that I can't be in a super quiet place where there is no sound at all. At home, I always have my fan on to compensate for the extreme silence. Is it OCD? It's not necessarily OCD. It's there could be many things, but what comes to my mind is the feeling of that is what your conditioning is. That is your interpretation of home is. That there are certain activities, whether it's a fan or whether it's something that makes noise, brings about that you're not alone, you're part of the existence of whatever is in action, and therefore you feel you're part of that environment. The environment is not dead. There's life in it, there's activity in it. And you need that activity for your mind to have a little bit of a background scene, like your ears are hearing that there's something other than you, so you don't be conscious about the quietness or conscious about the emptiness or possibly loneliness, and you feel like, okay, there are things happening and I'm now doing this, what it is happening with me, what I'm busy with studying or learning or whatever it is that I'm trying to accomplish. It is alongside and in coordination with whatever else is happening in this unit, and that brings you a feeling of hominess. So to you, that's an interpretation of a comfort, security. You don't feel like, oh, I gotta now watch for something. It's kind of your alertness kind of cools down, settles down, because you can't hear everything because of the fan, because of other activities, and that gives you a certain kind of a feeling of security. That's what I think it is. Otherwise, I don't think that's an OCD. It's just comfort. It says my family loves silence. Or maybe that's why, because you've been actually wanting to have some kind of activity going on. Your family always kept it all quiet, so now you are enjoying it the way you like it. Virgil says, hello, but can't talk, just came to support. Thank you, the channel. Thank you very much for doing that, Virgil. I appreciate it. Very kind of you. And not me says, sir, I feel really bitter and full of hatred. I've tried focusing on other things and being positive, but it doesn't last long. What should I do? Why are you bitter? For what reason? What's happening? Is it job? Is it money? Is it other people have, I don't know, better things or things that you don't have? Or is it girlfriend? What is it? And remember, we need the protocol. I need to know your gender, age, and where you're tuning in from. So first of all, ask yourself, does being bitter help you? Does that make you happy? So if you say that you're bitter and full of hatred, you got to find out why are you hating, and what is it that you're hating? Hatred toward what? Are you entitled to things and things are not going well for you, and you say it's the God's fault or other people's fault that things are not turning the way you want them to turn, or there are things that you want and you can't have, or your parents can't provide, or you can't have it somehow, the opportunity is not there, and you find you got to have somebody responsible for that, because definitely it's not your fault, so it must be somebody else's fault, and for that reason you're bitter and hating everything else, because you're saying something is denying me the opportunity to have what it is that I want to have. And you got to figure out what is that, and then we can have a conversation. But otherwise it's kind of difficult for me to hit it on, because I don't know what your background is, what you've gone through, what it is to figure out what that the roots of that hate is. I think the best thing to do is to you focus on what is going to turn your life around, what is going to make your life a comfortable life. And what that is, it's either studies if you're in school, or a job, a career that you should focus on. Once you be able to interpret your efforts towards the difference it makes in your life, which would be being able to provide a comfortable life for yourself, and prepare for that with your actions of today, whether it's studying or your job or career that you're active in, then by building your life, you create certain comfort and capabilities that will bring provisions and more comfort into your life, which will take away any kind of a bitterness or hate towards other people, because you don't need them. You're self-sufficient. You're successful in your way. You can pay your way. And that will put you at ease, that you don't think that I need these people. One of the reasons that you may be hating other people is because you think other people are responsible to bring you things. There are things you want, and other people are not letting you have it, or not creating or giving you the opportunity. For that reason, you hate them. But once you already create all that opportunities for yourself by your own sweat, by your own efforts, and accomplish all those, then you don't need other people. And when you don't need them, you don't hate them. I think that's what you should focus on, to bring the standard of your life through your efforts and accomplishments to a level that you will find that I'm comfortable, I can take care of myself, things are in control, I don't need other people, therefore I don't need them, I don't hate them. They're not responsible for anything, I don't hold them responsible for anything, and that would be a good feeling. Perhaps you can start with that, because that's as little as I know about your background, so that's what I would suggest you would focus on. And Fantastic Gamer says, hey Miran, I'm a very new subscriber. Oh, welcome then. And very new subscriber, how about age, gender, and where you're tuning in from? So at least we start from with the right, good step forward. So say, Miran, I'm very new subscriber. I just now watched your video on how to stop thinking about a girl, and it was a really good and informative video. Oh, well, great that you shared that with us. I'm delighted that you liked it and it's been helpful to you. And Fantastic Gamer says, do you have any other advice beside the video on how to stop thinking about a girl? I've been thinking about her nonstop for almost 2 years now, and I am a bit lost. Well, I would be too. First of all, I got to know how old you are and what your background is as far as nationality, so cultural wise. Let me see if you've answered that. Fantastic Gamer says male 18 Israel. Okay, listen, Fantastic Gamer, male 18 Israel, and you said that you're thinking about this girl for 2 years. Let's talk about it for a second. What is it that you want from this girl that you think no other girl in the world can provide, that it is only anomaly, specialty of her. Is there no other girl in the world? Well, there is. No other pretty girl in the world? Well, there is. Is she made out of gold? No. Does she not have to get up early in the morning and wash her face and clean up and go to the bathroom and then eat something and then go to school or to job or wherever it is? Yeah, so she's not an angel or God or anything, is she? She still have to poo, she still have to clean up and do her chores and study and so on and so forth, yeah? So there's nothing really special so far that you found out about this girl that's occupied your brain for 2 years. But you see, you can go further from that. Understanding that when was it that you started being infatuated with her? You were 16 years old. At age 16, she probably was your first love. And you don't know much about yourself, and you don't know who you are, what you are, let alone knowing what kind of girl you want. So at age 16, everything's so extreme excitement. A woman in your life, a girl in your life, sexuality, intimacy, love, attention, companionship. You can hold her hand, you can talk to her, she smiles at you, the world opens up. But these are the effects and the feelings that you would get if that wasn't her and it was another girl. You would still get the same kind of reactions, same kind of feelings, same kind of excitements, same kind of feeling like she's a god, an angel, and that her smile would have turned your life and your world brightened to the same degree. So it's not special about her. It's special about your age of 16, has never had such experience, and you're just becoming a man. You're just learning to the masculinity and all that hormones and feelings, and she happens to be one. That's the first love probably, and you will remember that. And for some reason, she or you break it up. She leaves, or she doesn't want to be with you, or you change your mind, or something, or her parents, or whatever happens. And you feel like she was the only thing that was most important and cannot be any better. Well, it's like saying it's the first time that you tasted kebab. You think it's the best thing ever existed because you've never had anything to compare it with. That is the only measuring stick that you can have. Kebab. Delicious. Right? Unless you're vegetarian. But so the same thing. It's the first time you fell in love for this girl at that age 16. So the taste of it is so horrendously exploding. And your experience is way beyond anything you can remember. And you are now living with that memory, that pleasantry. And you think that that memory represents her today or represents the best that is available. Listen, you were not at your best. You were 16 years old. You're 18, you're a different person. You're going to be 20, you're going to be a totally different person. At age 25, 26, you will not even know yourself, what you were thinking at age 16, and why you actually like the girl that you liked, because at age 25 or 20, you would be a different person and you would be having different standards and expectations from a girl, and that would not mean the kind of girl that you met at age 16. But right now, at this moment, from age 16 to age 18, 19, you think what you experienced at age 18 is the ultimate experience of knowing how a woman is beautiful and all that so forth. And at age 16, she's all natural. She doesn't pretend anything, or there's so many things that she impresses you because you've never had that experience at all. And therefore, you think all these means she's so special. No, if it was any other girl, you would feel the same way with her. So what I'm suggesting to you is to focus on what is important for you, which would be studying right now, preparing for your life, and to understand that by studying, by building the life and becoming successful in accomplishing that you set out to accomplish, you will have a better chance to attract other girls that would be looking for a good quality man. And at age 20, 22, you would be a man that different echelon of girls would be looking at you, not a 16-year-old. A real woman would be looking at you. And you got to prepare yourself for that kind of equality that is expecting to meet you. And you don't want to be meeting them with the understanding of the memory you had of a 16-year-old experience. You want to be accomplished in your studies, in your education, in your pursuit of life, in building values, manners, morals, and whatever it is that is important to you. And then you'll be able to offer important things. At age 16, you had nothing to offer. And something beautiful came your way. And because you had nothing to offer, you thought everything that she's offering you is everything there could be. You could never measure up to her. Why? Because you're a boy. You're made in a way to be attracted to girls. If you're a heterosexual boy, you're attracted to girls. And at age 16, you have nothing to offer. But when you see a girl, you think they have so much to offer. Why? Because you're turned on that way and you're built to react for procreation, to pursue a woman, to want to be with a woman. So, and they're not doing anything. It's a program you have in your genes. So that program convinces you that she's got a lot to offer. And you got nothing to offer. You think you don't. And for that reason, you think she's better than you. And you're convinced that she's better than you. That's why you fall head over heels in love with her. But that's not because of what she has done. She hasn't done anything. She was born like that. She looks that way, and you have a program in your genes that you're attracted to girls. That's all. She hasn't done anything. She doesn't deserve any of that attention that you're still giving it to her 2 years later. You better get prepared for the girls that are waiting to meet you, and they are of different echelon, and they expect a real experienced man as far as knowing what life is all about, to be able to be in control of his faculties and his experiences and his feelings, and not be bogged down with the memory of a puppy love at age 16. They want to know a real mature guy who they can call their boyfriend. So you better get ready for that experience. And let this one go, because this one, what it was. It was what it was. It was a good experience, and you will never forget it, and it's beautiful. But that girl today is not the girl you met when you were 16-year-old. You are not the boy that you were at 16-year-old. At 16-year-old, your expectations was that girl, which was really no expectation, just as long as she's a female. That's it. But now when you get older, you will have expectations and standards for girls that they should be able to provide and bring about, put it on the table. And at the same token, you will be offering things more than just you being a guy. You will have education, you will have plans and dreams for future, and start planning for building a life, and manners, morals, and understanding. And therefore you would meet lots of expectations and standards of the girls who are looking for some nice guy. So you can see that what you liked is not going to be sufficient or meeting your standards a year or two from now. And even right now, what you think of her is a memory of when she was 16 or you were 16. I don't know how old she was then. But no, she's not going to measure up with what you really expect today, let alone 2 years from now. So you better accept it was a good experience, but it's not the girl that you're looking for, because you're changing. And when you know who you are, then you will be able to understand what kind of expectation and standards you will have from a girl that you want her to be your girlfriend. At this point, you hardly know yourself at age 18. How could you know what kind of woman do you want? So take it for what it was, enjoy it, and be prepared. Get prepared for the real action that is coming in the next couple of years. And that's what I have to leave you with that for now. All right. I hope that was helpful to you. Fantastic gamer. And don't you guys forget that you're supposed to promote this channel because it's got such great content. And for that, I'm going to give you this little bit of this link to share it on your social media and let people know that this channel, which is going to support you after breakup, support you in your certain kind of a mental issue such as OCD, HOCD and whatnot, and hopefully that you will post that on your social media and chat rooms and so on, this link that I just put, 1 minute and 47 seconds, and let them all know that this channel exists, support exists, and they're not alone, and help is here. There are over 2,000 videos here of different topics, thoughts, consciousness, fear, desire, ego, breakups, devastation after breakup, how to move on, and OCD, HOCD, and all these other things about how the psyche functions, and you become the mechanic of your machine. And this is all is up here. If you understand this, how to operate this, and what makes sense out of it, and know its glitches and shortcomings and malfunctions, then you will begin to be on your way to freedom, freedom of mind, freedom of thoughts. And this channel has its place in the world, and you guys got to help me out to let people know this channel exists, and we exist, and they should come here and join us. Now, that's wonderful. We have 11 concurrent viewers with 17 likes. That's what I like about this odds. So now, Levy One, who is a male from Arizona, 19 years old, says, "Hey Mehran, right now I'm worrying if an attraction to a muscular or toned woman means that I am homosexual." No. What the hell are you talking about? Why do you care what some thought or thing means? Don't interpret things. She's a woman and she's muscular and you like it. That's great. Don't analyze it. Just observe it. That's your observation. Great. What's wrong with that? In fact, one of the very attractive women and very capable and very tough is Kara, the character in Mandalorian. Look how beautiful she is, how sexy she is, yet she's tough and strong and, fit. I mean, I like that. And believe me, I am heterosexual. I am heterosexual and I like that girl. And I like many other looking women. Most women are just simply amazing, beautiful, whether they're thin or thick or whatever. It's the way they carry themselves. So doesn't matter. You should not be interpreting it anything. You like the look, you like the look. That's fine. The tougher they are, you see capability in them, that they can be a help in life as far as, be together dealing with challenges of life, and she's strong and she's capable. That's how it was in the olden days. All women were, big, but this woman is actually good looking, tough, fit, and sexy. So, what are you talking about? All right. And Ismail says, "Hi, man. Hello, man." Says, "I'm from Morocco. Welcome." Says, "I just found your video last month, and you helped me a lot against HOCD. I'm delighted to hear that. And thank you for sharing that. Ismail, let me know a protocol. Age. I need the age. From a male from Morocco, age." And State Sean, or Stella Sean, says, "Mehran, I appreciate your videos. They help me a lot. You and Star Wars Theory." Oh, Star Wars Theory. It's a big channel on Star Wars. "Has helped me so many people with anxiety and OCD. Should I mute myself to intrusive thoughts? It's good filter negative thoughts." No, you just let them be. Look, thoughts have the right to be. That's the function of the brain. The brain is a tool, a machine, an apparatus. It's a plant, it's a factory, a thought manufacturing factory. It doesn't have any understanding of who you are. It just makes thoughts. And because it wants to protect you, its job is to protect you, look for troubles. When it can't trouble, it just keeps alerting you about all possible things that exist in this world. And what is it? It finds things that actually you're not interested in, and it finds them as to be intrusive or worthy of alerting you, because they consider that, the brain considers that as danger. So it needs to alert you. But the problem is it alerts you too many times. And that's when the caudate nucleus is not working. And therefore automatic shut-off valve, shut-off button is not there. So you end up thinking that because an intrusive thought showed up, the button to shut it off is at the end of all possibilities and tangents that this thread of thought can take you. So you start entertaining it because you want to get all the possibilities of where this thread of thought can go because you think when you get to the end of it, that shuts down automatically. You think the shutdown button is at the end. But no, because association of thought adds to another thoughts, and then this can go to tangents, a million different directions. That's not the way to deal with intrusive thoughts. The way to deal with it is exactly the same way you deal with the person who's saying nonsense when you're walking by the street. The more you turn around, you tell him, oh, fuck off, what the hell are you talking about? He's going to respond to it because he gets energy out of it, and he responds to that, what you said, and then this goes back and forth the longer it takes. So what's the best way to handle it? You know it. Right you are. You walk by. You ignore the guy. You ignore the person. Because you say, well, that's a lowlife. That's an asshole. Why should I be responding? That I end up having to be more focused on it, and it takes longer, and eventually we're going to have an altercation and the police comes, and so it's just more and more story to it. So the best way and fastest way is what? To ignore the damn thing. Same thing with thoughts. Thought is also intrusive. Someone from out there intrusives an opinion about you or suggestion, and that's intrusive when it's not interesting to you. And something from the brain also is created, is intrusive. So you deal with them the same way. You recognize that it's a disturbing request, or it's an intrusive thoughts, or uttering an intrusive opinion. You recognize that, so you know what it is. There's no question about it. It's annoying. And therefore, you now ignore it. And you move on about your business. And you can see that the person who actually uttered some nonsense will have nothing else to say. He shuts up. And the brain is too. After a while, keep doing it, says, well, there's no reaction here. So why am I spending this energy? Because the brain wants to create security for itself. So it creates nonsense to create energy and exchange. So in that interaction or in that conflict, it creates occupation. And in occupation, brain finds security. Brain does not find security in physicality, like your arm or your face or your body finds it. You know, secure place, you know where things are, your ears are here, your hands or arms are here, physicality. And the room is locked, the door is locked, it's an apartment, it's a good part of the neighborhood in town. So physicality brings security. But brain doesn't find the security like your body parts finds it. Your body finds it. Brain finds the security in occupation. And the more nonsense it can utter, the more rise it gets out of you, curiosity and anger and frustration and anxiety and responses and debates and data hunting and conversation and discussion. And that occupation keeps the brain to think, okay, I'm home because activities are here and I'm busy. And when I'm busy, I feel secure. That's how brain finds security. Now, in combination with caudate nucleus not working well, malfunctioning, in combination with OCD, in combination with anxiety, suddenly this thing is going to continue if you don't know how to deal with it. And it's going to take you places that you never wanted to go. Such as if you ride a horse that is very strong and headstrong, if you train it well and communicate well with, give it the right signals, it will take you where you want to go, abide by your rule, where you want to direct it to, it jumps over the fences that you want it to jump. But if you don't train it well, you don't understand how to communicate with it and direct it and give the right signals to it, the horse has the mind of its own, takes you to places that you never thought is even exist. Because it's going to do what it does. And it doesn't know what it's doing. It just does things. So does the brain. If you understand how to deal with the brain, and you will not pay attention to the efforts that it makes to bring occupation and discussion, and you just simply recognize the intrusiveness of the thought and the suggestion or the images, and you simply recognize them for what they are, and then you ignore them and focus on what it is that you're busy and you prefer to focus on, your life, you're building your life, and what it is that you prefer, and then it would be like ignoring it, like you ignored that person who uttered some nonsense. When you're driving, somebody gives you a finger or says something, what are you going to stop, turn around and start creating something? No, you just say, oh, fuck it. You just go. And that's the best way to deal with it. And that's how you deal with the brain's malfunction and the brain's glitches and behavior of creating intrusive thoughts. In a nutshell. And don't forget, I'm one Skype call away. Go on my site, mindthatseekstruth.com, and click on the Skype button that is turning on the right top corner of the page and make an appointment, or just click on Talk to Mehran via Skype and make an appointment, and we'll discuss what's concerning you one-on-one on Skype. Don't forget to check the site and look at the books that I've written, the table of contents of this, specifically the book, Me, My Psyche, and I. Me, My Psyche, and I. I want everybody to have that book. That's why I've made it so inexpensive, so everybody with every currency can afford it. And that helps the channel, supports the channel, but at the same time, it's far more valuable than the money that you're paying it, because it really opens up your brain to lots of things that you gotta know about yourself and about how to deal with thoughts, consciousness, fear, desire, ego, order, and all these other things, including meditation and mind needs a home, and understand, all these things that you would be enjoying to find out. And to look at the table of contents and see if you like what the topics are in the book, and click on the button to see a sample, to read a sample chapter. And then, of course, the printed version is expensive, it's $80 US, but the ebook version of it is 1/10 of the price, and same number of pages and everything. So take advantage of it, please, and enjoy learning about yourself a little bit more, and become the mechanic of your own machine. Know lots of things that other people don't know, and at the same time, you can support the channel that way. That at least it would be good for both. All right. All right, sorry guys, just 1 second. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Something I had to take care of. So let's see what we have here. And Carpe Diem is here. Says, hi, Mira, 42 male Canada. Good to see you here. Carpe Diem, glad that you're here. Appreciate that. Says, my ex of 10 years contacted me again, asking question how I am doing. She never answered how she was when I asked her. One-way streak. Is she playing game before Xmas? Well, just ask her point blank. Says, well, I would tell you how I'm doing, but I'm very interested to know how things are for you. And I haven't heard that answer. So why don't we start over again? How's it going for you? And then call her name and see what she comes back with. And Carpe Diem says, I asked how her family was, no response. Only asked how I was. I feel she is playing game. Well, don't respond to the game. Just don't respond either. So what is the best response I can give her? The best response would be, well, I would be more than happy to let you know that my life is great here. I'm continuing my business and I'm continuing my efforts to make a happy and positive life, and everything is going well. But the most important thing is that I've asked you how you are or your family is. I haven't got that response back. So how about you start from there? That would be a good conversation. That would be something to give her enough nudge that, hey, listen. And Carpe Diem says, I hate she brings all these feelings back. What's her goal? Yeah, well, don't pay attention to that. Guys, let me warm up my tea for a second. I'll be right back. All right. Sorry to keep waiting, guys. Sometimes it takes a while to boil. So, okay, where were we? Mm, yeah, Carpentino says, I hate she brings all these feelings back. That is her goal. I don't know what she's trying to do because it doesn't make sense. She already had the opportunity and you've already given her a chance. She already suggested for you to get that WhatsApp or whatever the app was, and you did that. And yet she's not communicative, but I am suspecting if she doesn't let you know what really her intentions are, maybe she's trying to keep contact with you so she can send her son here to go to school or something. I don't know. I'm just thinking this is peculiar. Why is she not communicating properly? If she contacts you and she asks a question, she should be able to respond to it properly. But she's not, and she's just asking a question. Maybe she wants you to kind of get I don't know, interested and bring the topic of something that she actually wants you to say, but I don't recommend you say anything. Don't say shit of any kind and let her come out and spill it out. What is it that you want? Are you giving me a hint to come back to me or to talk about it or to see me or to visit or what is it? What the hell is it? Just, you know, you can either be patient and wait until she spills it out and don't play the game and don't fall for her trap. Don't start, offering things that you wouldn't otherwise say, and then see how it rolls, how it develops. Just don't share more than what you need to share with her at this moment until her intentions are quite clear. What do you want to be a friend? You want to communicate? You want to come here? You want to visit? What is it? What's your intention? So that has to be clear. And perhaps in a very diplomatic way, you can actually ask her for that. And Natmi says, I did the protocol in the beginning, sir. 19 male, Assam, India. Oh, did you now? I apologize. My bad. Let me see. Oh, you're right. You're absolutely right. I missed it. Sorry about that. It just slipped through. Okay, I'm glad that I already answered your question. And Bali Martin says hello. Hello, Bali. And Nazra is here. Hello, Nazra dear. How are you? Says hi, my dear Mehran. How are you doing this morning? Well, it's morning for you, but it's just 10:51 here. Says Nazra, 22, female from Atlantic City, New Jersey. A question. My cousin, who is 40, met a guy who is 30. 10 years difference. How are my family think this is not a great idea? What do you think? No, I don't think that's a good idea. She's 40, he's 30. In about a few years, when he's 40, she's 50, and he's going to be hanging around the younger chicks. And that's not going to sit well with your cousin and for anybody. So I suggest the guy better be older than the girl, although it works any which way. It depends on the two and how they would like to treat this and treat the relationship and what makes them tick together. And it may very well work for many people. But in general, I'm not talking about the anomalies and the special cases. In general, when the guy is 30 years old and the girl is 40 years old, it may work perfectly for a while because they're both young and, at the prime of their life. And at 40 years old, woman looks beautiful and all fit together, wisdom and everything else and capabilities and maturity, and yet also fit if she takes good care of herself. And the man is 30 years old, very young, but he's not going to feel as he would like to feel because he's 30, he's a man in his own right, but he's got less experience than the 40-year-old woman, and he may feel a bit overwhelmed that he can't have the role that he wished to have, to be helpful in decision making and so on. He's much younger. He should always take the back seat. That's not going to be great. At least they would be able to share. And with that age difference, I don't think they'd be able to share that on an equal basis. So he may feel left out, and then later on he may start looking for a younger girl to make himself feel the kind of man that he would like to be having the image of and present himself. So I don't recommend it, but let's see how it goes. Nazra said, good to see you, dear. Good to see you too as well. I mean, to at least see your writing. And Fantastic Gamer says, wow, that was an amazing answer. Thank you. I will try to focus on myself and prepare for future experiences, and all come by to talk about it each time. Good, good. And don't forget to help to promote the channel with that little 1 minute and 47-second promotional thing that I sent about the live talks, and also about, you can pick other things from the channel and share it on your social media and promote the channel. Every one of you can do that. Otherwise, we'll always remain as a small channel and unrecognized as we've been for the past long while. And Steven says, thanks again. Just listen to your email. Situation sucks, but it's the reality. I'll be strong and take your advice. Good for you, Steven. Thank you for that. Levy one says, thank you, Mehran. My worries can be pretty dumb and constant, but I think that's why I have OCD. Yeah, we all have one kind of OCD, one kind or another, and we will deal with it. If you understand and educate yourself, and you become very expert on why the brain functions and malfunctions the way it does, then you will feel strong and settled and relaxed and not worry about it, because you know how it works, functions, malfunctions, and the jig is up. There's no mystery for you anymore, because you know you're the boss ultimately and not the brain. And Ash says, yo, Mehran, just popping in to say, hello, about to go to sleep as I have been up all night watching UFC, but I'll leave this stream on in the background to help me sleep. Okay. And Ash says, hope all you guys have a good session. Great. And I'm almost done, actually. You're the last one. Ash says, and also Tarun Varun says, hello there. And Ash says, male 32, the land of 40 winks. Where is that? That's UK, isn't it? Land of 40 winks. Okay, guys, it's time for me to let you all go, and it's also 11 o'clock. That's the time I should shut down my live stream so the noise would not bother my neighbor. So I love you all. Thank you very much for being here. Look forward to talk to you again, maybe another surprise live stream during the week, or if not, Saturday at 1 p.m. Vancouver time, and Saturday at 9 p.m. usually Vancouver time, for different time zones. So in the meantime, again, I love you all. Thank you very much for being here, and you be good to yourself and to the others. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.